Welcome back to my channel. Hi. I have a bit of a zinger today. I found an article that was talking about the morning after pill in England and how basically there have been several women that have experienced the same thing that women in America have been experiencing for years. And I was rather shocked by this because I wasn't expecting that to happen here, you know. I like to think that it's a little bit more forward moving than where I have found it to be in that article. Apparently a woman went to the pharmacy after calling her GP and getting the morning after pill, and she expected to be able to go in, get the pill, and leave. Unfortunately, the pharmacist who was to dispense the pill to her, who had the paperwork in front of her, telling her that this was what was supposed to happen, stated that she would not dispense the pill based on her own personal beliefs. They did not coincide with what she believed morally, and she wasn't happy. So this lady, fortunately, was in a position financially to go somewhere else to go get the pill on a Sunday, because if you have any information or any knowledge about the pill and how it works, generally you're supposed to take it the day after, and it's less effective the longer you wait. Okay? I am pro-choice, always have been, always will be, and I do believe that that is the way it should remain. People should have that choice. And if you disagree with me, that is your right. That is your privilege. But you're not going to change my mind. You know, been there, done that. As far as like dealing with my friends having to go through these things and make these hard decisions, it's not an easy thing. And it's not anything I think anybody takes lightly. And if they do, then, you know, I have a problem with that kind of person. It was something that happened in 1973 called Roe VS Wade, and it passed from the Supreme Court in America, the highest court in the land, and I swear since that very day it has been under attack by the conservatives. They've been trying to destroy it ever since 1973, 2 years before I was born. Yes, I'm that old. You know, it's amazing what's going on over there. Because, you know, it's about 58% of Americans are against overturning Roe v. Wade. Okay. And I think it was, what was it? 32% are in favor. And they want to just, you know, make it completely illegal across the board. Nobody can get one ever. Well, the attacks have become a lot more intense. And recently, what you're looking at is, just for instance, okay, these are just some states. I can't go over all of them because there's 50 states and we'd be here forever. You know, several hours later, you'd be looking at me going, I get it. I'm depressed now. I can't go further. This is really just, you know what, I'm just kill me now. You know, it's very depressing. Very depressing when you think about the, you know, just the lack of choice, the lack of personal right. I hate it. It bothers me. But in Arkansas, there's only 2 abortion clinics, okay? One of them is what they call Planned Parenthood, and there's another one that I believe is more private funded. But problem is, with Planned Parenthood, you are going to be attacked verbally, possibly physically, outside of one of those, regardless of why you're going there. I know you've heard me talk about this before, but it's a real thing. It doesn't matter what you go there for. If you turn up in front of a Planned Parenthood, these people, the right to life, they will literally believe that you're there to murder babies. And they will treat you as such, and they will scream at you, and they will belittle you, and they will make you feel this big if you let them. If you let them. Most of the time I would just look at them and just, you know, think, could you please educate yourselves? I'm here for like something else. I was there for like a pap smear or something. But whatever. And so of course, you know, by reducing it to abortion clinics, that allows the anti-abortion people to focus all their energy on those 2 abortion clinics, which makes it even harder to get an abortion. And basically what they're doing now is currently you can get an abortion up to 22 weeks after your last menstrual cycle. All right, but the governor just signed into law basically a near ban on abortion, and what that means is absolutely no abortion, no exceptions, even in the cases of rape and incest. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? And I have heard politicians say such horrible things such as, oh, well, you should be thankful that God gifted you with a baby. Well, you had an orgasm while you were raped, so you must have enjoyed it. I'm not joking. Go look this stuff up. They say these horrible things. These misogynistic, nasty people, men, they're white men who are basically, I believe they're pushing through 90 plus anti-abortion laws into reality. That's what they're trying to do. And they're trying to overturn Roe v. Wade, which, oh, geez, I hope they don't. But I mean, there's so many things over there going on right now. I don't even know where to begin. So I thought I'd just focus on this. Right now, there are states also that have a 72-hour waiting period. It's a requirement before visiting the actual abortion clinic. And that, in some cases, if the woman is far enough along, can put her in the position where, oh, well, guess what? You're too far along. You can't have an abortion now. And they did that on purpose. Another thing is they would make her wait those 72 hours, then go to the abortion clinic, have an ultrasound, then wait another 3 days before you can return to the clinic and then have the actual procedure. So an additional 6 days, which could change a person's life if, say they, like they can't, for instance, like something happened and they cannot take care of the child, or they just don't want a child and maybe birth control failed them, or there's any number of reasons, all of which I am not really going to judge somebody for. It's not my place. It's not my body, and it's their choice. I don't know why it's so difficult for other people to understand that. But the other thing that I heard about, and I've read plenty of articles about, the other thing that they do is they will have these places set up to look like an abortion clinic, but it's not. It looks just like one. You go in, you'll have the appointment, they'll make it seem like that's what it is, but what it really is it's like this Christian-run kind of clinic, and they try to change your mind. They will show you pictures of what an abortion looks like, what happens. They will show you pictures that are actually exaggerated. They will tell you things that are impossible. Like the baby has certain abilities and certain intelligence in the womb much sooner than it's even possible. But they do this to create guilt and to try to make people decide not to, or they'll tell them, oh, well, if you insist on taking the morning after pill, if you only take one, you can still stop this, and you can not take the second one, which actually hasn't been proven to be true. And then, let's see, you have another thing is that this is going to disproportionately affect people that are more, don't have as much money. Okay, because let's face it, if you're having to travel out of state, take time off your job, and you don't have health care to go get an abortion, and let's say, for instance, your supervisor is like, morally objectionable to this, okay? Well, then what? You could lose your job because you want to make a choice for your own body. it's beyond me. And, there's so many problems I have with this, because, you have, let's see, there's also the child care that you might have to, look after, because a lot of these women, they have too many children, and they can't have another one. They can't afford it. And you'll have a lot of people saying, well, set them up for adoption. There are millions of children already here. Are people not aware of this? Or are they just turning a blind eye to the ones that are already here? Notice them. They're here. Come on. If you can, adopt them. Give them home. They would love to be loved. How do you know they're not your own if you haven't even, seen them? They might be just what you're missing. You never know. One of the things I have to point out about America and their birth control, birth rate, I should say, teen pregnancy is just through the roof. And I can give you some reasons why. Often you have your purity ring, people that love that one. And what they'll do is they'll wear a purity ring. And there are some proponents in the South that believe you wear your purity ring to indicate that you're a virgin, and then you marry your daddy in a ceremony and say that he's the only man for you until you walk down the aisle with your husband. I'm not kidding. You're marrying your father. Yeah. Wrap your head around that one. Please, if you come around a corner and you can figure something out, please come back and tell me about it, because I don't understand it. It's very strange. Or they have also found that people that do have the purity ring, they will have this strange idea that as long as it's not vaginal sex, that it doesn't count. So oral sex is okay. Anal sex is okay. And they've found that there has been an increase in problems in those particular categories among that age group. Oh, what do you expect when you teach your teenagers all these weird things? You're not actually telling them the facts. You're not teaching them what sex is and how to prevent pregnancy. You're just making them neurotic and weird. I have tried to explain to people what my sex ed was. My sex ed class was a very awkward woman. I think it was our town sheriff. And yes, it was a lady. And she came in and she was carrying a basket. And she proceeded to put bananas on each one of our desks. And we were actually in the science lab. So I remember we were sitting in these tall chairs. And, you had the black lab. And we were looking at these things like, why do we have bananas? And then she handed out the condoms. And up till that point, I was actually not sexually active, so I had no clue. And she told us, okay, now open the condom. Okay, now this is how you put on a condom. You put it on the banana. And then they didn't really tell us anything more. And I was just very clueless at that age. And it's very strange how it is over there in America. They're not very... they're real good at violence. They've actually statistically found that in movies, Americans love movies with violence. They'll watch it, no problem. And of course, there's some that don't like it. I get that. But the majority of them prefer violence over sexuality. Whereas a lot of European countries prefer sexuality over violence. Or a combination of both. Which is kind of funny. Oh, hold on. Neighbors. I did not mention Sophia. I didn't. Just... it's still too soon. It's still way too soon with the shootings and everything, and I'm still not okay. I'm still dealing with that. I'm still hoping that everybody else is finding a way to cope and have found counseling and things like that, because it's horrific. It's honestly horrific what happened. But there was a beautiful fireworks show and a really cool like memorial display. So that was really, really good, I think. All right, so that really sums up what I wanted to cover in this video. And it is part of the several differences that I found in America versus the UK. But it's not as different as I thought because of that article I ran across. As I was doing the research, it just kind of went, oh, it's really not as different. Hopefully they found that's like a violation of human rights or something over here, because, I mean, it's happened to several women now where they went to go get their morning after pill and found that it was unobtainable because of moral objections from the pharmacist, which it's really not her place or his place to put up objections. It's not. Yeah. You know, I have major problems with that. And I'll tell you the hypocrisy in America, and it might be with some of the anti-abortion people here, I don't know, but this is actually focused to the anti-abortion people in America, and this is what I've always felt, and I've got very strong opinions about this because they're freaking hypocrites, okay? But you will have these people out there with their pickets and their horrifying pictures of abortions and aborted fetuses and all this. And it's awful to look at. And they will scream and they will berate you and they will belittle you and make you feel so guilty, you know. And half of them are people that had abortions and they just decided, you know what, I feel crappy about it, so I'm going to make everybody else feel guilty, I think. But the worst part about it is is that they'll encourage these women to keep their babies. And some of them do. Do you see them helping them after this point? Not usually. Usually after a lot of these women have these babies, they start belittling them because part of the reason they were there to have the abortion in the first place was because they couldn't afford the child. So now I have noticed that a lot of anti-abortion people, once the baby's born, oh, well, you know, you need state funding, you need government help. Oh, well, you know, we should cut funding to that. You know, they've been cutting funding to WIC, which is Women, Infants, and Children. It might be called something else now, I'm not sure, but it's really reprehensible. And I've always been of the mind that if you care that much about the unborn child, and I mean, you know, case by case, there's a woman that shows up and you've convinced her to keep that child, it is on you to supplement and help her keep that baby because you care so much about it. I really honestly think this. You've convinced her to keep it, right? That is a financial burden, a very expensive, okay? Everybody knows babies are expensive and children are expensive if you want to raise them in a good environment and with the things that they need. But if you set these women up who are already poor and then berate them afterwards, you're horrible. You care about the unborn child, but you don't give a shit about them after they're born. And it's just something I've seen over and over again. That's why I always wanted to tell them, if you care so much about the unborn child, then you help them have that kid, you help them raise it and fund it and give it a good education, or else just shut up. You don't care. They just don't understand how much of a hypocrite they look to some of us. You know, I'm definitely pro-choice. I will always be pro-choice. And, you know, I realize how much of a divisive subject this is, but I do feel very strongly about it. I just do. And let's see what you guys have to say. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, yeah. Let's all keep our heads up, okay? I love you guys. Seriously, thank you for the extra subscribers. And I mean, you know, I know a lot of YouTubers say this, but it is true. I mean, could you please subscribe down below if you like what I'm saying? And if you do, you know, add the little subscribe button and then add the little extra thing so you can see everything that I'm putting out. And I'm thinking about doing a Twitch channel. But I think I'm going to do that on my next video, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. I think you'll like it. So I'm going to go. It was lovely talking to you guys. Kisses. Mwah, and I'll see you later.